They say fast food is dead food, but can we bring it back to life? What happens when we take a tomato seed from a Whopper and try to grow it? Let's find out. Back in the spring, I grabbed a Whopper from Burger King, unwrapped it, and then lifted up the bun to find the tomatoes. I picked up a slice of tomato to see if it had some good looking seeds in it. There are some nice ones you can see right here. Tomato seeds have a gelatinous casing that can inhibit sprouting. To remove it, I just put the seed onto a paper towel, like you see here, and then rub the seed with a paper towel to remove it. Here is the seed with the sprout inhibitor removed. Next, I needed to get some soil and a cup to plant the seeds into. I decided to use a red Solo cup because I had one laying around. I made sure to cut slits at the bottom of the cup for drainage so the soil doesn't go bad in the cup. Now it will drain well. Then I dumped some Happy Frog soil onto the table. The soil was a bit dry right from the bag, so I added some water to make the soil nice and damp throughout. This will help with germination. After mixing it all up, here's what we're left with: perfect damp soil. Next, I grabbed my Solo cup and filled it with potting mix to prep for planting. I like to use a Sharpie to make a little hole to drop my seeds into. Here is the first seed, and we'll drop this one right in. And here's the second one. They look good down there. Now we'll just cover them up with a bit of soil and then water the seeds in. To get a better overall experiment, I wanted to sprout the seed of an additional tomato slice, so I grabbed another Whopper. For this one, I wanted to try a different method and grab the slice of the tomato out of the burger. I figured this one would work. It had some nice looking seeds in it. And instead of taking the seeds out, I just took the whole slice of tomato and dropped it on the surface of the soil. Then I covered the whole slice with some soil, like you see right here, and watered it all in. After my seeds were planted, I grabbed a heating mat and placed my cup on the mat. Using a heat mat is important because tomato seeds will germinate based on the temperature of the soil. And using a heat mat will cut the time it takes for the seeds to sprout in half. Here are a bunch of different tomato seeds I started, all on the heat mat. And I'm using an LED light for them. After only 8 days, the tomato seeds sprouted and were looking really good. Here are the ones that I only planted 2 seeds. Both came up. And here's the cup that I planted a whole slice of tomato. The germination rate was great. You can still see more seedlings sprouting up. 7 days after that, the plants had their true leaves and were really doing well. So I decided to go by and thin them out to 1 plant per cup. There we go, a healthy, happy tomato. I did the same thing for the sliced tomato seedlings, but for this one, I just picked the healthiest looking seedling, then just cut all the rest out carefully with a scissor. Here's the final seedling with plenty of space now that it's on its own. 8 days later, the plants had shown a lot of nice growth, and it was time to get them into the ground. Here is the tomato that was from the whole slice. The color and the health of it are really encouraging to see. For this one, I'm planting it directly into the soil. To do this, first I pull back the wood chips with a rake until I get down to the soil level. Then I grabbed my small hand shovel to dig a hole for my tomato, and I want it to be about twice the width of my cup. Next, I grabbed some of my JP's Secret Stuff all-purpose fertilizer, then got a tablespoonful of fertilizer. I put a little more than half at the bottom of the hole, and then mixed it in. After that, I grabbed my tomato, popped it out of the cup and placed it in my hole, then began backfilling with my natural soil. When I was almost back to the original soil height, I poured in the rest of the remaining tablespoon of fertilizer, then finished backfilling and watered the plant in. I added a bit more soil to the top, then pulled the wood chips back around the plant to make sure it had a nice mulch covering. I was pretty sure that this tomato was going to be a determinate variety, which means it puts out 1 big fruit set and then stops producing. For these kinds of tomatoes, it's best to use a cage for them, so that's what I did. At Lowe's, they had 54-inch galvanized tomato cages, so I bought one of those and placed it around my tomato to help support it as it grows. Here is the little tomato looking happy in its new home. For my other tomato plant, I figured it would be a good idea to plant it in a container. So this way I have one plant that's in the ground and one plant that's in a container. I grabbed a food safe container from Lowe's and drilled some holes in the bottom for drainage. Next, I grabbed some of my own homemade soil and dropped it into my bucket, then filled the rest shovel by shovel. I made sure to add some fertilizer to this soil as well because my homemade soil doesn't have a lot of added nutrition in it. I decided to add about 2 tablespoons to my 5-gallon bucket, then mixed it into the top few inches of the soil. Then I grabbed my tomato. This one was looking really nice, as you can see, and it's the one we only planted 2 of the seeds. I made my hole in the soil with my hand, popped out my tomato, and gently set it into its new home, then watered the whole thing in. We will see what the future brings. It's been 9 days since we transplanted out this tomato. This is the one we started from the tomato seeds in a Whopper. Overall, the plant looks really healthy. Look at the color of the leaves, beautiful color. Overall, really healthy. It definitely adjusted well to its new home. We're gonna stay on top of this, make sure it continues to grow well, and then continue to come out with some updates for you because this is so exciting to see what kind of tomatoes we're gonna get from a tomato that we started from a Whopper. Right here, we have another tomato that we started from seeds that we grabbed out of the Whopper. This one looks fantastic. It's growing healthier, bigger, and faster than the one in the ground. That's probably because we're using some of my own homemade soil and my own fertilizer. So this thing has like perfect conditions. Overall though, it looks really healthy, looks really happy, and I'm expecting a high level of production out of this one. A little bit of time has passed and this tomato that we started from a Whopper from Burger King is looking great. Overall super healthy, and you can see some of the flowers are forming right here, which means soon we'll start to see some fruit. I cannot wait. You'll notice low down, there are a few leaves that are getting just a little bit of issues on it right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pruner. First, I'm going to spray it with isopropyl alcohol to make sure that I don't spread any disease problems or anything. We're going to take this and we're just going to prune off some of these lower leaves. We're not going to remove any of the tops because this is a determinate tomato most likely. We're just going to take off that lower leaf and this lower leaf right here. And we'll remove any leaves in the future that have any signs of a disease or anything because we don't want this disease spreading up the plant. It's been a little bit since we checked on this tomato, the one that we started from a Whopper from Burger King. Overall, if you take a step back, this thing is looking incredibly healthy. And you'll notice it's already got some flowers forming right here, which means soon we will get to see the fruit, and I cannot wait. One thing you'll notice is for some of the leaves, like the ones over here, the lower ones, they're showing a few little signs of potentially getting disease issues. So what we want to do is remove those leaves. This thing is a really healthy looking plant though. The color of it looks fantastic, and I could probably go by and add a top dressing of fertilizer now that it's starting to head into production, and I could also add some mulch. So I'll make sure to do that. This thing is really looking healthy though, and I'm expecting a nice harvest out of this one. 7 days later, the tomato in the ground was cruising along and doing its thing. The beautiful flowers were opening, which is always a good sign. Some of the lower leaves had early blight on them, but the upper leaves still looked super healthy. I grabbed my pruners, sprayed them with isopropyl alcohol, and went by to remove all of the leaves with disease issues on them. This will greatly help prevent disease from spreading throughout the plant. It's simple and effective. The tomato in the pot was looking wicked good as well. There were lots of flowers opening, and the color of the leaves was a healthy dark green. A few of the leaves had blight issues, so I went by with my cleaned pruners and removed all of the lower leaves that had problems. By this point, my tomato plant in the container was already producing tomatoes, so I wanted to make sure that it had enough nutrition to support healthy fruit development. I grabbed a 5-gallon bucket, put a scoop of my homemade soil in it, then added in some of my all-purpose fertilizer and mixed it all together. Here is the soil with the fertilizer mixed in. Then I took my fertilized soil and added it to the bucket. This will help give the plant the food it needs to kick out a big harvest. Then I watered it all in. I wanted to add some mulch to the bucket to help the soil stay cooler and dry out slower. I grabbed a bag of leaves that I saved from the fall and dumped them in my backyard, then went over them with my lawnmower. This dices up the leaves so they don't mat out the ground. Here are the diced up leaves, way better than whole massive leaves. Next, I just took them and added them to the bucket until all the soil was covered with a few inches of mulch. 23 days later, the tomato in the ground was looking fantastic. So many flowers, a dark green color to the leaves, and already it was loading up with fruit. There were a few bad leaves at the bottom, but overall, this plant was really doing well. I pruned off the bad leaves, and this is after the pruning. It's looking really good. The tomato in the pot was not doing as well. It still had some good fruit on it, but it had slowed down considerably compared to the tomato in the ground, and it had some diseased leaves. I removed those bad leaves, and this is the plant after pruning. It's August 1st today. Overall, the tomato looks fantastic. A lot of nice sized fruit on here. I'm pretty sure they're gonna start getting some blush to them and then ripening in a short period of time, which is super exciting. Not much to say besides the plant's doing great. I mean, look at the color, look at how large it is, look at the fruit. Really happy with it. The Burger King tomato that I started in a pot is not looking that great, to be honest. The beginning of the year, it looked a lot healthier, but we have some tomatoes on here. They look all right. The flowers just have died off, and I think the plant is just a little bit too stressed. We've had some intense, hot weather, and I think potentially the plant, I let it dry out just a little bit too much, so there's not really many more flowers forming. Overall though, we still should get a good harvest from it. Some decent looking tomatoes, but it doesn't look as good as it did. 12 days later, the tomatoes in the plant had completely swollen up. And now you could start to see truly how much fruit is on this one plant. A few of the tomatoes were starting to blush and get some color, and the branches were hanging low from all that weight. The tomato in the container had some ripening fruit on it. Even though the plant didn't look that great, it was still producing. It's August 22nd today. It's been 103 days since we planted this tomato from seed, right from the Whopper, and look at it. The time has come to taste one of these tomatoes. Look how beautiful this one looks, nice and ripe, and a number of other ripe ones right here. Then move along the plant here, and then even up it. This thing is loaded with fruit, even at the top. And look at this one arm over here. It got so heavy, it laid on the ground, but still some fantastic looking tomatoes on it. I think it's just so incredible to take something like processed food and then to be able to turn that back into natural food. It's been an incredible experience. I can't wait to taste the tomato. When it comes down to it, this tomato, it's likely going to be a hybrid. I did some research online when it comes to the Burger King tomatoes, and people say that they're slicing tomatoes close and similar to like a beefsteak, and that's what we got right here. But since it's a hybrid, they don't grow true to seed. So we didn't know necessarily what we were gonna get. What we got is a beautiful beefsteak tomato here. Let's cut this off and get a taste of it. Cut this one off right here. Take a peek at this tomato. Look at the color, and it's nice and ripe. Look at the shape, absolutely beautiful. This is a true full circle moment. To go from seed, well actually to go from burger to soil to harvest. Now, we started with just a slice of tomato. Let's cut a slice off and see how it tastes. Let's just grab this here, cutting board, get a little slice into the tomato, see what we got. Ooh, it looks good. Let me see that. Ooh, nice pink color to it too. A little bit surprised about it. Let me cut one more little slice here, and then we can taste it. This is basically what we started with. Just a tomato with some a slice of tomato with some seeds in it. Look at what we have now. This tomato, all these tomatoes, and we just grabbed that right from the burger. Who would have thought that you could, grow tomatoes from something like this? It makes you wonder how many hidden opportunities to start seeds are hidden at fast food places, at grocery stores. There's so many opportunities to grow. Let's get a taste of this thing though. Decent flavor to it, not acidic at all. Pretty good sweetness. It could be a little firmer. Overall though, just a delicious tasting tomato, and I'm actually pretty surprised, not only with the production, but also with how well the tomatoes look and how decent they actually taste. Let's check out the one we grew in a container. You can see this one isn't even close to as productive as the one I put in the ground. And that's for a few reasons. First off, I think it was because water. I just didn't do the best job with water when it comes to this tomato. You guys saw earlier in the video where the tomato was huge, it was healthy, nice green lush leaves, and then what happened was I got a little busy doing some other things and I couldn't really keep up with this tomato, and I just didn't water it often enough. So it essentially dried out too much. As the plant got so large, it essentially drank the water in this container so quickly that I wasn't keeping up on those really hot days. It stressed the plant out. Then we had huge rains that came, and we had like almost a week of rain. So it went from not getting enough water to then getting too much water, and it just really stressed the plant out, and I think it's pretty obvious. It's incredible how important a role water plays in growing food. It's literally either the cause of so many problems or one of the main reasons your plants do well. And in the future, we're going to talk more about that and get more into water. But regardless, the plant did relatively well. We still got some tomatoes from it. I'm excited to try them to see if they taste different than the one we grew in the ground. Because these are hybrids, they don't grow true to seed. This one could be just a little different than the one we grew in the ground. Right here, you'll notice there was a bigger tomato on it, but it had a few issues. It rotted out on me, so we weren't able to get a harvest from it. But I bet I can still slice off some of the top and still eat some of that tomato because I don't want it to go to waste. Regardless though, it's unbelievable to me how resilient a seed is and how underappreciated just a simple seed can be. These tomato seeds that I planted, think about what they went through. You know, first originally the industrial farming, and then all the processing, the slicing to go onto that burger, and then after all that, I still was able to get it and sprout it and grow more food from it. It just amazes me. I don't think seeds get enough respect as they do. It's just they're incredible. They amaze me so much. Let me taste this tomato though to see if it's a little different than the other one. I'm not going to slice this one. I'm just going to go apple style and take a nice fat bite right out of it because I love me some tomatoes, especially when they're fresh, homegrown from Jersey. Similar flavors, but I don't think this one is actually as good. The other one was a little sweeter. This one's a little more sour. I could have given it another day or two to ripen, I think, but overall, the one in the ground was better. One of the huge advantages to planting in the ground and having wood chips down is if there's a time period where maybe I can't get to watering, the plant has the opportunity to, you know, tap into all the water that's in the whole entire ground. And that just dries out so much slower, especially when you have a mulch down, than just growing in a pot. That makes a big difference. Also, when you have a really healthy quality soil like I do and has good soil structure, even if it rains a huge amount, that's okay because the water can drain through the soil and then there's pockets of air where the roots can tap in to get some oxygen. So growing in the ground made a considerable difference. Growing in pots is fantastic, and I've grown amazing tomatoes in pots. It's just something you have to keep, you have to keep up a little more with them. When it comes to the plants in the ground, they're much easier to just kind of let them do their thing and just kind of check in every little while to give them a little bit of help. The reason this didn't do well though is definitely my fault. This is a user error, but when it comes down to it, it's still overall a success, the whole experiment, and I'm so happy I did it. It's just, it was an incredible amount of fun. That's today's video, growers. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I had an absolute blast making this video. I find the experimental videos to be so much fun, even though it's not like a practical thing to go buy a burger and save the seed from it to grow a tomato. It still was just overall a lot of fun to do. And it helped to improve the overall garden because I was so excited to go out there every single day to check on those tomatoes. And then when I'm out there, I'm able to look at other things in the garden and do anything that needs to be done. So it essentially made me spend more time in the garden, which then helped improve the garden overall. And I learned a lot from it too. And it shocked me. I thought that I would get the seeds to sprout. I thought the tomatoes would be weak and probably not grow that well, but they grew way better than I expected. And the interesting thing about it is I also did the same thing with the McDonald's tomato, and that thing, I mean, you gotta see it to believe it. Completely blew me away. I'm shocked by it. So you guys need to make sure you hit that subscribe button to follow along for when we post the McDonald's hamburger to tomato, and I'm telling you, it's it's hard to come up with words because it absolutely shocked me with what happened with that McDonald's tomato. I want to send a thank you to one of our new channel members, Carol Larson. Thanks for being a part of Team Grow. Thanks for having your hand in everything we're doing out here. As you can see, the garden is still growing beautifully and the production is still high. And I mean, it's a fantastic time of year to be out here as the nights start to cool and you get a nice cool breeze and you get to just walk amongst the plants, grab some snacks. It truly feels like a paradise out here and we're thankful for that. I wanted to mention that we're still doing a giveaway over in the community at teamgrow.us. We're giving away 4 free irrigation kits. All you got to do is go to teamgrow.us and put a post in the community, throw a picture up, just write a post, do whatever you got to do, and you could get the opportunity to win a free irrigation kit that's worth over $100. It's a great opportunity, so check it out. I also want to mention we have really cool merch like this one, the Let It Grow with the tomatoes from seed to harvest, just like we showed in the video today. Overall though, I just feel grateful to have the opportunity to try to make a video like this. And if you guys got some encouragement, some value, or just thought it was an interesting idea, make sure you share this video with your friends because it helps the channel considerably. We want to inspire people to take a different look and a different approach to things. Just because fast food is nice, that it's convenient, sometimes conveniency isn't a great thing. When it comes down to it, when you get some of your own seeds and you grow your own food, it might take longer, but it pays you back so much more in the future, and the flavor, the colors, the experience, it's truly worth it. I had a blast out here. We'll be back to you with another one real soon. We out.